Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Is that why you're divorced, Tim?
No, I am going to let
because of your
Bob is going to feel my wrath during the show. Listen, I'm going to crush your soul.
I'm already feeling pretty fucking funny though.
That can be very funny. And I put the tip back on. See, it's a little bigger now.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself that.
Nothing but the tip, Timmy. It's a good size.
That's a great band name. Just
it is
tip.
A great band
It
name.
is a great band name. All right.
Hey,
so
before we start, can I ask you guys a question?
Of course.
Did you know that you can get a 40-piece McNugget from McDonald's?
I did not. A
I
40
didn't either,
piece?
because 40. Yeah. Because today,
sounds
took a kid and his
crazy.
buddy to get some McDonald's for lunch. And I ordered a 20-piece. And, you could barely hear them. They're like, oh, did you use the app today? And you're like, whatever, no. And then I order. And they're like, do you want to round it up? Kids with cancer or something. I'm like, yeah, of course, round it up. And then they say the price. I'm like, boy, that sounds a little bit high. But whatever. I don't know what I just agreed to. Maybe I told them, give me $10 worth. I don't know. Now, look at the receipt. It says 40-pack of nuggets. And I know I didn't say, give me a 40-pack of chicken nuggets. And how do I know this?
Because you didn't know that they existed.
Exactly. So
Well,
I know
you
this.
also, I assume, being your age, you understand the difference between 20 and 40.
Correct.
Assuming.
I'm blaming it on the intercom system. But the problem is that I don't eat McDonald's, like, ever. But
Okay.
it was lunchtime. And
Look at me. I'm Bobby. I'm super healthy.
Oh, wait.
So I already committed to the double cheeseburger before I figured out somebody's got to eat some of these nuggets. And they're good, don't get me wrong. But I didn't know it was a 40-pack.
I was aware of that because I've actually had a similar situation, but the McDonald's employee, because I ordered like 2 20s and they're like, why don't you just get a 40? And I was like, what?
You're like, okay.
I mean, I was like,
that.
all right.
Well, did your 40 actually come in a 40-pack?
No, it came in 2 20s.
That's what mine came in. So you would think they'd be like, I'm sorry, did you say 20-pack? No, they just went ahead and charged me for a 40-pack.
Meanwhile, I was like,
That's a lot of nuggets.
I just
it's
had
it's a disgusting amount of nuggets. Like
It
that's
is.
Freddy's. That was yummy. You
How's
ever had
Freddy's?
Freddy's?
I had their shakes.
I've never had their shakes, but their whatchamacallit was I had just a regular old cheeseburger and Mountain Dew and some fries and their jalapeno fry dipping sauce, and it was super delicious. So,
Very nice.
guys, we are less than 24 hours away from the trade deadline. We are actually 18 hours, 19 hours away.
Yep.
I'm getting real nervous here. Real nervous. Now, I don't know if, I don't know who even is available anymore. Like, I don't even know what moves were made today. I kind of, was just busy all day and hearing stuff that you guys were texting back and forth and stuff. But I did see that, Tim, I think you were the one who put it out there, but I also saw it earlier today that Rantanen is now scratched for tonight's game.
No, apparently I got by a something that has popped up on the old Twitter box is fake insider emails. There is Frank Saravelli, Darren Dreger, not Darren Dredger, and a few others that I've seen. So I got by fake Darren Dreger, unfortunately.
So he's not getting traded.
He is not getting. Well, he's not getting scratched. He's
If he's not getting scratched, he's probably not going to get traded.
Maybe,
right?
maybe not. I don't know. I mean, Carolina should
game, pull him off the ice.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. Our GM's at a Blake Shelton concert right now. So
how you feel about that, Bob?
What, that he's at a Blake Shelton concert?
he is. Yeah. Someone in one
He's
of the.
You're serious.
Oh, yeah, he's serious.
Yeah.
Oh, I would think there's a better 364 days of the year you could probably do that.
Okay. Well, however, I believe the Blake Shelton concert is at the Prudential Center. So
I don't know.
Still
If he's
doesn't sound like
watching
work,
it from his fucking office, then I'm fine with that. And he's taking phone calls and he's just kind of watching it through his little monitor.
you got to understand, he's not the only one, obviously, working the phones. Kate Madigan's there. Dan McKinnon's there.
Is that true, DJ, that he got the Marino deal done while he was at a concert? What concert was it? Back this thing up. If it was Blake Shelton, then
I imagine you can hear the concert from his office anyway, so I guess you might as well be there.
I mean, it depends on where his office is, but yeah, I agree. Okay, so I guess this is something he does. He makes his deals while he's enjoying horrible country music. But okay.
Any chance he's gotten a 30 or 40 goal scorer while at a concert?
Yeah, no, just getting rid of Marino.
I see.
It was the Hanson reunion tour. Okay, that's good.
Honestly, I think Chris is. I don't know if that's actually a joke or not, but I think hopefully that's right. But I do believe Blake Shelton is at the Prudential Center tonight. So
I would love to see how Tom Fitzgerald acted at the Hanson concert. I could just see him, bopping his ass all over the place, right? That's I can't believe it.
Have you seen those kids now? They're oddly adults. It's just very off-putting. It's very off-putting.
Who were the ones that did the Stadium Series? That wasn't the Hansons, right? That was the Jonas Brothers. They're from Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was not the goons from Slapshot.
All right. Well, I mean, so what do you guys think? How about this? How about we start with the pickup that we did get today? So, Tim, you want to fill us all in of our new D-man?
Let's take a look at Mr. Dumoulin's. This is his J Fresh hockey card. You want to pull that up?
Bop, 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 boom, bop. Get it up, bop, bop. Bop, bop,
all right,
yeah. Whoa,
okay.
Bop.
Okay.
Sorry, Brian Damelin.
Whenever we're ready. So first off, this guy has vowels.
I'm sorry.
There's no card up. There's just Chris singing.
Oh God. We done?
Is there supposed to be a visual?
I'm waiting for you, Tim. All right, stop fucking around.
You're gonna interrupt me again, aren't you?
I'm not gonna sing anymore.
All right. So first off, this guy has vowels where they Jesus Christ.
No, I wasn't singing.
Just humming, dude.
This guy has vowels in his name where they shouldn't be, and vowels that should be different vowels in his name. So that's the first kind of red flag.
What are you talking about? What vowels are you not happy with? Dumoulin is kind of spelled Dumoulin.
Whatever, fine. There's a lot of vowels. I was trying to type it earlier, and I was like, "How the fuck do you spell this?" And anyway,
yeah. All right.
So look, this is his general player card. These numbers, are generally an accurate representation of the guy we're getting. It's a 3-year average.
Yeah. Again, timeout. Are we supposed to be seeing this card? There's nothing on the screen. No, there's nothing on the YouTube screen either.
Do you see it, Tim?
I see it, but I have it pulled up. Hang on.
And when the audience see it,
it's not there.
There it comes.
Oh, it was there before.
Yeah, I think when you have YouTube open, Bob, it's a little delayed. You just got to move the.
No. My screen talking with you three did not have it.
All right. Well, I don't know. It sounds like
I could not participate in the discussion.
All right. So anyway, do you see it now? Everybody see
sir.
it now? Okay. So this is our new, probably second, third pair lefty. I'm guessing they would probably reunite Hughes and Pesci. They'd probably put Dumoulin with Kovacevic and then Dylan and Nemec. That's how I'm guessing they're going to run this out. Mm-hmm. He's pretty good, definitely above average. The real reason we got this is his defensive capabilities. Obviously with Siegenthaler being out, this is a good plug-in stopgap defensive replacement. His game, and you see the little line graphs on the right. Mm-hmm. It's declined a little bit, some of his numbers, and that's primarily because he's playing on Anaheim, or was playing on Anaheim, who's just absolutely fucking dog shit. The one thing that I really like about him, and these percentiles are where he ranks relative to the rest of the league. So he's 76% better than the rest of the league defensively, 27%. He's not as good offensively, et cetera, et cetera. If you look at the competition and the teammates that he had, so it's the competition that he's playing against is 75 or basically 3/4 better than anyone else in the league. So he's been playing probably the toughest competition every single night with absolute dog shit teammates. So that's pretty it's pretty good for what kind of our needs were to fill in. I know we've all been clamoring for the forward replacements. I do still think those are coming. I don't know what Fitz is cooking up over the last hour. He's been linked to like every single motherfucker on the planet. But for what we needed to fill in defensively, to replace Siegenthaler, and if you look at our 5-game moving average of expected goals against, it's actually been pretty bad. So our defensive process hasn't been really as good as it was, and even in January, it really kind of fell off a cliff in February, and that kind of coincides with the loss of Siegenthaler. So this is actually a pretty good pickup. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Hopefully everybody absorbed this. Good, you guys get it?
I thought that I mean, I like this pickup. I really do. I think it could be an excellent pick. Just like you said, to put Pesci back on his right side with Luke, put this guy now, he can step in and hopefully take care of Siegenthaler's duties. I don't know how he is on the penalty kill or things like that, but I would have to assume, being a good defensive guy, he's probably good on the PK. Curious though, like if you pull up one of the devil cards, because I've never seen that before, those cards like that. So like, where are we in team and competition? Like if you pulled up, let's say, Jack Hughes, like, I'm just curious, like if Anaheim is at, what, 23% as far as the
I don't know. Like I'm
just curious.
So like
that's all.
So those cards, they're behind a paywall. So the only reason I have that one is because the guy tweeted it out. He tweets out the cards once they're traded. So like I don't have like full access to all of our cards, but I would imagine Siegenthaler's probably looks a little better. That's probably about as good as what Dylan's looks like.
Right.
So I'd kind of put him right there. He's maybe a little bit older, maybe kind of a dime store version of Dylan, I think. So
I really thought though I like it too. I like it too.
I mean,
he's also a big boy. He's 6'4", I think like 213.
He's a big body. It's a safe choice. He's not going to go out and try to do too much. He's someone you can rely on. If you're looking at Siegenthaler's game and you want to kind of mirror at least one element of it, the element that he was doing so well earlier in the year was that pairing was the defensive shutdown pairing. So you bring in a guy like this, it's safe. He's not going to take risks. He's certainly not going to pot you a goal, maybe one or two odd ones. Who knows? He'll probably be the guy that gets 4 in a playoff run. But otherwise, I like it. Like I can see this guy just fitting in any normal situation as one of 6D.
That's the thing, and he he was on the Penguins forever, has 2 cups with them, so he's been there before. He's not going to panic. This avoids us putting KC and Nemec together, which was kind of a disaster of a pair at the beginning of the season. So it not only replaces Siegenthaler, it kind of rights the ship on a lot of other pieces within our defense. I think the problem people have had, and you got to kind of compartmentalize what we got and the player that we have. What we gave up for him, that's in the past. We got to deal with what we got. What we gave up for him, I've seen people kind of bitching about that, like Herman Traff, is our 3rd round pick last year, had a pretty good World Juniors. He's a big Swedish kid, but like he projects as maybe like a high end 4th liner, maybe like a little bit better than Bastian.
We should hold on to him so we can maybe see him in 2 years. And, I don't give a shit about that at all.
No, I don't give a shit about him at all. Like, and we just got a better version of him in LeChance. So it's like, whatever. And then the 2nd round pick, like, you can always argue that 2nd round picks have value. Like we've gotten Hamaniho, we got Yegorov in the 2nd round, but it's either Winnipeg or the better of Winnipeg or Edmonton's pick. So it's going to be probably towards the end of the 2nd round, 58, 62. So I'm fine with it.
And no term on this guy, right? He's UFA?
No term. UFA after this. Anaheim retained half of it, so it's only like $1 million and change. So
I think it's a good move to make heading into the playoffs. I mean, it's not a swing for the fences, but it's we're in the game. We want to play the game. So yeah, like I said, I like it.
Jay, I think that's actually a good pick. I see what you're saying. For all of our other needs, it's like, what the hell? We just got a defenseman. It's like kissing your sister. I get it. But it is a pressing need. And just think about our decor. If Siegenthaler comes back for the playoffs and you don't have the, I guess, I don't want to call it unreliability of Nemec and Casey, but just the kind of the unknown of
the
those
unknown,
two.
and that's why, and that's why you don't call up Hadaka or Villain or one of those other guys, because you don't know what they're going to be. They could be great, they could be absolute fucking disaster. You just don't really know. So getting a sure thing, I think, really kind of helps. And without Jack, we may be looking to build a kind of on the fly team that's going to win 2-1 games. We have, like, we've been saying
Kind of
all along,
seems like it.
we have Markstrom, and don't be depressed, Jay. Don't worry, man. Just because you banged your aunt, it's all right.
I'm slightly depressed, but that could go to full on complete if we really shit the bed tomorrow by 3:00 in the afternoon. So, I get everybody's like, angst about this whole thing. It's like, we went through this last year, except we were in a much worse position than we are now. But like this sitting around and waiting to get the best deal possible, when I just don't know. I don't like that strategy. I feel like we knew what was wrong with this team 2 months ago. We talked about it ad nauseum 2 months for the last 2 months. And now here we are. Trade deadline's 3:00 tomorrow afternoon, and we still don't have the pieces in place. All we were looking for was a 3C and a big body winger to play with Jack. Now Jack's gone, and so now it changes everything. But that's the thing I don't like. Like, if these pieces are in place, does Jack get hurt? You don't know. Everything changes. Every game changes with new people in place. I don't like the sitting around and waiting, because I feel like I'm going to listen to XM all day tomorrow. You guys are going to be keeping track, and you're going to see all the guys we talked about over the last 2 months moving here, moving there, and we're going to get stuck with Kyle fucking Palmieri. Like, I just have this horrible feeling that it's going to be Kyle Palmieri. And I mean, is McCann still an option? Do we know?
Yeah. So everybody else, like all the other big names that we were talking about, unless I missed something in the last 20 minutes, are still on the table. And that's kind of the interesting thing that has, like, none of the guys that I think we would want, like McCann, like Ryan O'Reilly, like Tuck, like Peterka, even Cousins to an extent. Like, it just doesn't seem like those guys are necessarily available and need some more talking into and need some more convincing. Yeah. And right now, with what we gave up for Dumoulin and some of these other trades, like Tampa just gave up 2 firsts for Gordon Bjorkstrand. Like, those are 2 guys I thought could have worked for us and our needs, but like we wouldn't have had 2 firsts for that, and I don't think they were worth us giving that up. It's a tough seller's market, but I'm sharpening my pitchfork. I don't have it out yet for Fitz, but if he doesn't fucking fix something by tomorrow, we're storming Lafayette Place.
I'm really hoping that within the next half an hour or so, maybe we hear something, but I don't think so, because he's apparently rocking out at a fucking Blake Shelton concert right now.
Yeah, and then, the Sturm for a late pick, that was a weird one. I don't know why we weren't in on that. Like, would have been a clear upgrade over Lazar. He went for like a 7th round pick, or maybe it was him in a 7th for a 4th. Like, that seems strange. This is one thing I get the impression about Fitz and his team is that they get these kind of sort of almost autistically focused on certain guys and then don't pivot well, or don't have like a very good plan B in place.
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not, if we're just kind of inferring that from his activity, but not having picked anybody up for the past 2 months and then not getting anybody now. Even the Dumoulin deal, someone tweeted out that they'd been working on it for a while. It's like, how the fuck does that deal take a while? Like, I don't get it.
I can't believe that there's not a board in his office that is literally lined with options from their preference all the way down to the least desirable. There has to be.
Yeah.
Everything else is happening behind the scenes. A guy that you want, maybe that we're not even talking about, gets ticked off the radar. They knock it off their list and they keep working on the next one. And, I guess, like you said, he is trying to balance the assets and all that. But at some point, you do have to make some moves. I mean, if we're going to go into the playoffs and not take a full swing, all right, because I don't think you're doing that without Jack on the team. I think you're hoping that you can catch some magic and ride with it.
I disagree. I
Listen,
disagree. And
I want them to go. I want them to swing. I'm just like I said in the last pod. I think that this move now just makes a little more sense to me if the person you bring in has got some terms. So you're also looking forward to next year. Like if we can get that winger now, that's going to play with Jack next year too. That's
but
what
at the same time, I feel like if you do get a couple of right moves, and there's got to be 2 more pieces, right? You got to get 2 more guys at
minimum
least
is 2 more pieces,
right? So you go out and you make some good moves, and I believe in. I mean, at least I'm going to bed at night knowing that at least the team is in good hands as far as coaching staff goes, unlike last year. Hang on, I was just reading. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and Jay, just to clarify, like Bobby's right. Like he definitely has a big board with all of his priorities, what they want, who they want for them, what the asking price is, what the various iterations are off of that. And like what Bobby said, like that's why looking at the guys with term as like you look at the guys with term at wing, so that's like Tuck, McCann, Raquel. Those guys all have term, or the centers with term, which are O'Reilly or Cousins, or even someone like Casey Middlestat in Colorado, who they might be getting rid of. So there are still guys out there, and then God knows what's happening with Rantanen. Someone brought up to me, and actually this is a pretty cool 3-way trade with us in Carolina and Vancouver. Carolina apparently has been really all over and interested in Elias Pettersson for over a year now. So the idea is, and this is Jack O'Hart on Twitter, the idea is for Pettersson to go to Carolina, Rantanen to come to us, and between Carolina and the Devils, we come up with a kind of joint package to send stuff back to Vancouver in a 3-way deal.
All right. I'd be totally fine with that. I know he's a rental, but you ask on there, like, is there somebody that we would trade Nemec for that's available? I would trade Nemec for Mikko Rantanen, even if it's only for the short term. I really would. I would.
Really?
I know it's brutal, but he is an absolute beast, and I think he'll fit in with this team a hell of a lot better than he's fitting in with the Canes. Back to the Canes, though, I can't see a player that would fit in worse with the Canes than Elias Pettersson. Like, I don't get why they would want Elias Pettersson. Like, Rod Brindamore is not going to put up with a dude that takes shifts off, that cries over every little fucking thing, plays about as tough as, a 4-year-old. Like, I'm sorry, EP 40. I don't want him. I think he's a fucking head case. And
he's also got a bad knee too,
and a huge contract.
Something's got to be wrong with him and his contract. Yeah, we want someone with nuts, and that's why we want that's why we keep focusing on Tuck. Yeah,
Alex Tuck, whatchamacallit, the guy from Seattle, McCann, like, make these moves happen. Like, just because I think that this team, with or without Jack, I think when Jack Hughes is when Jack Hughes is the focal point of this team, I think a lot of their identity goes, it's just Jack centric. It's not just the lines he's on. It's every line wants to play that way and transition and this and that. And I don't necessarily know if we have the team, the personnel to play that way. I trust Sheldon Keefe that he's going to be able to get some guys in here. And with our defense and with our goaltending and with Timo and Nico and Bratt and the rest of the guys that, hopefully they can bring in, I do think they can do some damage. I really do. And I think they might even end up becoming a better team by the time the playoffs come without Jack Hughes. I know it sounds crazy, but I just think if they can change their identity and, like you said, Tim, play more 3-1 games, 2-1 games, lock it down. Like, that game against Dallas, that would have done so much for their confidence if they just held on for 4 fucking seconds. If there just wasn't a bullshit icing call, and if Eric Holla could possibly win a fucking faceoff. Everyone, faceoffs don't matter. Watch that fucking last 5 seconds of the game and tell me faceoffs don't matter, because we win that, we at least have 1 point. And instead, one of, I think, the worst defeat of the year. So I'm so interested to see how they come out tomorrow, what kind of new players are on this lineup. I don't know, man. I do have still a lot of faith in this team without Jack Hughes. Maybe I'll be wrong, but
I was pretty encouraged by how they played against Dallas. I've said it before. Like, we're not in the time to, to come away with moral victories. And that was pretty soul crushing to lose that way. But for 2 periods, we were fucking kicking the shit out of Dallas. Like, we were on the front foot, and I really liked that Timo, Nico, Brat line. That line is a beautiful thing. It's just, man, like the fourth line sucks. They're so fucking bad. Like, Lazar is so bad. He is not an NHL player anymore. Hall is not an NHL player anymore. If he can't win a faceoff, like, why is he on this team? Like, I really hope. Like,
There's a lot of guys in that bottom 6 that you could say that about. Why are they on this team?
Yeah, I know. We don't need to rehash all that, but it was a tough loss, and they need to come out. And I think logistically, if they're going to make any sort of big move with roster players going one way or the other, they need to fucking do this, because they need to get the guy here, get him to understand even kind of the baseline basics of our system, get him in the lineup, get him a number, get him a jersey, figure out what they're doing, where he's going to live, where he's going to stay that night. There's a lot of logistics behind the scenes that needs to happen to get a guy here. Like, it's fucked up.
Yeah, right now he's listening to Blake Shelton and Eric Hollis underneath his
Eric Hollis
desk.
just topping him off under his desk.
That's it. Uncle Fitzy, tell me about my eyes again. All right,
he does have beautiful blue eyes.
Let's do a little housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is, get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. And there's something special for first timers. DraftKings customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. That's DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Okay. Done with that. You guys watching anything good? Non-hockey?
Not really, no.
I've
been watching Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I like that show.
Yeah, it's funny. It's nerdy stuff. I like it. I haven't watched the second episode of 0 Day yet. Sorry, Bobby. I've been talking so much, man. You haven't got a word in.
All right, dude. I'm used to it now. We just watched really quickly Running Point, which is about basketball.
I started watching the first episode and I turned it off.
Really? I thought it was all right. Kate Hudson, she still looks really good.
She's nice to look at.
It was fun. I mean, it was a good, quick 10 episodes. We kind of watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay shit. I just realized how much Gordon Ramsay shit I watch. When we don't have like a Netflix show that we're binging, and then meanwhile, everything's kind of recording on Fubu, and it's like Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, Master Chef, Next Level Chef. I'm like, holy shit, dude. We just keep giving everything we got to this billionaire. It's entertaining shit. I don't know.
Bob J. Snow has a question for you.
For me? Okay.
Yeah. Can you read it, or you want me to read it?
Oh, you're about 6'4". Can you play hockey? I'm 6 foot, and if you're referring to street hockey, sure. If you put me on ice skates, it's a fucking disaster, dude.
I like what you're.
It's a disaster.
Just blow me, Eric. I'm trying to listen to Blake Shelton here. Bobby's actually a midget. But do you guys like Pat McAfee?
No,
I only see him from like the treadmill at the gym, and he always seems like he
goes to your gym.
Over the top. Yeah, crazy.
That's
he's on the TV.
Oh, on the television.
Yeah,
I got it now.
Yeah.
I don't mind him. Like I mean, he's all right, and but he also does the color commentating for WWE for Raw, so he does all the premium events.
Does he really?
So yeah. Yeah, you know what? He is a giant douchebag, and I'm going to kind of get into why I think now he's a giant douchebag.
Are we doing the wrestling portion so I can go like get a snack?
No. This is not very like the only thing about wrestling is that Pat
All right.
McAfee does the color commentating.
I
So
have one more
Sunday
thing
night,
about
Saturday night. What's that, Bob?
I have one more thing about wrestling when you're done.
Okay. So Sunday night was the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. They do the national anthem. The Canadians boo it. And this idiot went on about like just calling what a horrible, this country's terrible. And during the whole, pretty much the whole Elimination Chamber, any knock he can get in on Canada, he did. And then he got some blowback. And then on his show on Monday, he's explaining it. And he's like, look, you know, I'm in your country, you know, and I got nothing wrong, you know, no problem with Canadians, no problem with Canada, but we'll get to the heel turn in a second. Relax. So he goes, you know, but like when I hear people booing my country, like booing my, like I just want to fight. Like I don't care what you have to say. I just want to fucking punch you. I don't care. This is you know, it's not like I go and Justin Trudeau, I listen to what he says and I get mad and then I go and I'm shitting all over Canada and this and that. Like I love my country and you fucking boo us and I am so tired. I just have to say, for people like Pat McAfee and stuff like that, these like MAGA bros that do these sports shows and all this other shit. Like, I don't care where you stand politically. I might not agree with you, but that doesn't mean I don't like you. But that's a good question, Mike. I don't know what we're talking about, and I'm the one talking. Yeah, he is. But he just goes on and he's like, shit. And I'm just like, listening to this. I'm like, so you're such a little snowflake that when somebody boos the national anthem, your first reaction is to go fight. Like he wants to beat somebody up. Like, I'm just like, what a fucking redneck Pennsylvania born and bred piece of shit. Like this guy's got fucking $1 billion fucking contracts with ESPN and stuff. And he's so fragile, his little fucking ego, that if anybody boos the national anthem, he wants to fight. I just was listening to him and I was just laughing my ass off. I'm like, what a fucking little pussy. There's no other term. He's a fucking pussy. It's probably why he was a punter, because he couldn't fucking handle being an actual football player. Yes.
So McAfee, he's annoying. He's this new generation of ESPN commentator, and it's actually interesting that because yesterday was Pardon the Interruption's last day on air on ESPN.
Oh, it was?
Like that hour block of, I'm not Pardon the Interruption, around the Horn. Sorry, Pardon the Interruption already went off the air. So Around the Horn with Tony Reale and Max Kellerman before that. Awesome shows. 5 o'clock was Around the Horn. 5:30 was PTI. They had 5,000 episodes. It was every day, like Woody Page, guys like that were on it. I loved that generation of ESPN. Like, that was great. Now it's all these fucking assholes just yelling at each other, just, you know, trying to, you know, it's basically like clickbait, but on television now. It's just really annoying. Yeah, it's shouty shows. The one thing I will give McAfee credit for is two things. He really does a good job amplifying hockey and lacrosse and how awesome they are as sports.
Yeah,
those are my two.
He's the only one that talks about hockey, really. And real quick, Bob, we'll get to your wrestling question. Jay, to answer your question, in professional wrestling, the heels are bad guys. The baby faces are good guys. So when a baby face becomes a bad guy, it's a heel turn. So, and John Cena hasn't been heel in like 25 years. So that's why it's a big deal. All right, go ahead, Bob.
And he said he was never going to go heel, right?
Yeah, he said that a long time ago.
Why do I know that information? I don't know why I know that information. Go ahead, Bobby.
Because you're a closet wrestler.
I like that we have an audience that quickly reminds us that we're talking about really stupid shit. We need to get back to hockey because we can go on some tangents. But no, I don't have a story, Chris. Just want to tell you we were planning our future podcast, and I told you that I've got plans tomorrow night. Unfortunately, it's because I'll be at SmackDown in Philly. Yeah, really? It's for the kid. We're gonna go as a family. Yeah, I'm gonna get my first experience, and you know how I feel about it. I really don't.
Bro, that SmackDown's going to be fucking great tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting as high up as we can. It's actually cheap, dude. It's 3 tickets for like $150, like with the fees.
That's not bad. And
Cody we're going to go as a real family entertainment.
Yeah, well, Cody will be discussing the heel turn and everything. And apparently, he got really injured when that fucking shithole. What's his name? Kendrick Lamar. Was that the guy? That did the halftime show?
It was Travis.
That was him. Travis. No, who was it? I can't remember what guy came out with The Rock. Was it? It might have been. No, I think it was Kendrick Lamar. Or no, Travis Scott. Maybe I don't fucking know. It was some rapper, and he decked him in the fucking ear, and apparently busted Cody's eardrum, and like he might need surgery because this, you allowed some rapper to go out and actually play professional wrestler with zero training. So yeah, that was the War Games must have been awesome, dude. I would have loved to have gone to a War Games. Oh, I don't know. Why couldn't we get Strom?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the one weird one that I don't know why we weren't in on that with Fitz and his relationship with Greer. It's a guy that we talked about 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
And the return on it, I don't understand. Like, I have to. If we didn't get him and he was available for that, like that's ridiculous. But I have to think something bigger is in the works. I have to. Otherwise, it's like, what are you doing, man? Like. Are you trying
apparently
to
getting blown by Eric Holla right now?
Yeah, he's besides getting top from Eric Holla in the M Lounge right now, like what are you doing?
I think that maybe some of the hesitation is just my opinion on what he's doing. I really think that he's kind of pushing the Summers agenda a little earlier, and the players that he's looking for are players that he feels like can be part of the organization going forward, and not just right now, or maybe at least one of the two. I mean, we know the two holes we got to plug. One of the two are going to probably be a long-term piece.
I think Holla's plugging one of Fitz's holes right now.
They're really moving up. Jeez.
All right. How about we do some predictions?
Sure.
All right. So a little accountability session. So yeah, well, actually, he's asking like, what happened? Like, what do you think, Bob? What do you think the big move is? Like, what do you guys, any ideas of what you think he's going to actually pull off? Because I have no idea at all who, like, there's not even bumbling Devils are interested in Tuck. Devils are interested in, Rantanen. Well, you did hear that from Jack of Hearts, I guess. Cousins is another guy. I would love to have Cousins on this team. And I think it's time that Fitz needs to get rid of his old mantra and allow dickheads on this team. This team needs more dickheads, and Cousins is a fucking dickhead. So I'm cool with that one. But
I think I'm wearing my No Dickheads T-shirt.
Nice,
Yeah.
Good one.
Like it could just be one guy. Like, let's just play this game, right? One guy. Ask everybody in the chat too. We can get one dude. Not asking who we're going to give up for him or anything like that. One dude that we know is available. So you can't say Connor McDavid. Yeah, no shit. We all want Connor McDavid. But we know he's available. Who do you want? I know we need a couple fuck faces, but we only get one. So just pick one.
Who do we want, or who do we think is likely somebody that we can? I want Tuck.
It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be one player in the NHL nobody's talking about. Could be people that are being talked about. Just asking you, like, Mike, who would you want to get? A guy
I agree with Mike. I think Cousins is like the number one guy we should be targeting. He's been reportedly on the market for months. Like, he can slide in perfectly in center. He's a good workhorse and a good bounce back candidate for his production. And we can fit his full boat salary. No problem. Like, it shouldn't be an issue. And they're trying to unload him. I don't think the cost would be outrageous.
Does Cousins have term?
Yeah, he's got like, I think 4 more years at $7.1 million or something like that.
How about you, B?
Well, like I said, right now, I mean, you're limiting me to one. I want Tuck, and then I would figure out a 3C to fill in for the run. But Cousins is great. If we could pull that off, I would definitely take that too. I mean, that's just great strength down the middle and all that.
Or to Jordan Kyrou, that would be good. Tuck, Kyrou, Cousins.
St. Louis is suddenly playing well and maybe buying now too. I like it's crazy. There's literally no teams that, like, there's like 5 bad teams that should be selling, and all the guys that we would want on those teams, they're not going to give up. Fucking sucks out there. Like, that's also probably a large part of the problem.
I just feel like it's really hard to answer your question with one person, because to me, this doesn't work unless it's a 2-person transaction. And depending on how much or how valuable of a person you get in either one of those positions first, if you overpay big time to get a scoring winger with term or your center with term, then the other guy is likely going to be somebody else that doesn't require as many assets to get. So you got to balance those two out, and it may not come down to your personal choice. It may come down to which trade can actually get done first.
Sure.
Then you got to fill out. All right, we wanted to really go hard after Tuck, but we're not getting him, so we're going to go rent. What's his fuck that is just here for the summer. So.
This is actually a good question. Like, I don't know who's Revo. He writes here. Not sure if you talked about it yet, but why not claim Revo? I know it's nuts, but would anyone honestly rather Tuna, Bass, or any of the AHL plugs over him? That's the question I have. Like, is our developmental system so bad that we cannot call somebody up that's better than Tatar or Laser right now? Like, I don't understand that. Like, is it like that is a direct correlation to Tom Fitzgerald. And if we can't seriously develop, then we're fucked down the road. Like, how do we not have anybody that can help out and play better than that? I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, with Reeves, I don't think that would be the right choice. I mean, he's barely an NHL player. I mean, there's a reason why he continues to get waived, and we already have McDermott rotting in the press box. Like,
did he get waived, Reeves? I didn't
got
know.
waived. He got waived.
Okay, that was Revo. Is Ryan Reeves? Okay.
He got put on waivers today.
I don't know the slang. A team will pick him up.
Remtard.
Yeah, let's get Remtard. That's what I want. I want Sarah to be a
devil. Yeah, Tanev's a good,
talking about Brandon
guy.
Tanev.
Brandon Tanev's a good bottom six guy. Pius Suter, Mike Ref brought up.
I don't know much about him.
He gave us the old trust me, bro, on this one. I don't trust this motherfucker any further than I can throw him.
All right. Let's do some accountability. All right, we'll start with you, Tim. So some of your predictions from
I don't want to look at this.
Well, you only have you got one right. You got one right. You said last week that New Jersey would split the Golden Knights and the Utah Hockey Club games, and they did. You got that right, so you got a point there. Bob, you want to write the points down just so we have them? And then you said that Timo Meyer will score. I think Tim's the only one that got a point. Timo Meyer will score 2 goals against Utah Hockey Club. He did not score 2 goals. So for now, you only get the 1 point, and you did have something come off the board. Bobby.
Wait, Bobby, do I get the limited? Do I get a injury?
No, Bobby, you got a lot.
Hold on, now he's got 1 point for the entire year so far.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, 1 check mark.
And Bobby got a lot of red.
Yeah.
So, Bob, I gave you this one as wrong because you said Jack Hughes will be assessed a 5-minute major by the end of the season. I don't think he's going to be back, so I put that in red. You also said that John Marino would have a point against the Devils. He did not.
And he's really not following the trend. That's on him.
Yeah, he's not. And you also said that Austin Matthews would score 2 goals against the Rangers last week. He did not. So there you go. I heard that.
I'll take 2 points then.
You get no points.
Well, I mean, but I'm the scorekeeper, so you won't know.
That's true, but I can remember. This is pretty easy. Tim has 1. We have none. I can remember that.
Okay.
I think
no
Lou,
cheating yet.
I think Lou just said that you're not gonna trade him, right? Nelson?
I don't know what he's doing. That's the thing. Is like reporters are so scared of Lou that they don't even bother fucking asking. So
all right,
the latest was that he has a contract offer on the table, but they may also be like looking to trade him too. So it's like we're at the same, it's the same circle, that we keep running around in.
Now, I had one thing come off the board, but I said, I don't know, you guys might remember, I wrote down that Jacob Markstrom would start against the Stars. Now, being, I'm going to play fair, it was under the intention of that would be his first start back from injury. But I don't know if I said that. Or did I just say he would play against Dallas? Because this might not be wrong. This is a semantics thing, and the way you word your prediction is very important. Does anyone remember if I said that would be his first game back? I would bet I did say that.
I do believe the context was that it would be his first, but I don't give a shit. I'll give you the point.
No. Rules are rules. So no point for me. Okay. And then that's all I had come off the board. So those were our up-to-date predictions. So now we'll start with you, Tim. What is your first prediction of the week?
The Devils will shut out the Winnipeg Jets.
You fucking prick. Second prediction. Devils will shut out the Jets. Now I have to fucking come up with another one. Yeah, I'm dead serious. Ah, you prick. How
We
about
are
I'm gonna
both
say
so delightfully delusional.
the Devils will not have a goal scored on them against the Jets? Is that the same?
Yes, I believe
Yes,
that
it
is called a
is.
shutout when that happens.
I
Yes.
just didn't want to
You
use the
are
word.
allowed to have the same question.
I got to add something to it, though.
It's your risk. You're I mean, you
Yeah, but
both
I got
get a
to
point, you
add
both lose a
something.
point.
No, you can't do the same prediction unless you change it a little bit. You got to add something.
Oh no.
So, all right, Bobby, your first prediction.
My first prediction was just very simply, we will beat the Jets.
Okay.
We'll win tomorrow. That's it.
All right. This one, I think everybody is going to think I'm crazy. And if the Devils go on a long playoff run, and I'm saying past maybe into the third round or further, Jack Hughes will be back. That's my prediction. They make it to the third round or further, Jack Hughes will play.
A
It's
lot of moving
yeah.
pieces on that one.
Talking
Yeah, and they're
about,
all on his shoulder.
Spring 2026.
Yeah, I know. This is just, reckless optimism. So I'm
That's
going
good.
with it. Tim, you're first.
Second.
Jake Allen gets traded.
Ooh,
Okay.
Allen traded tomorrow.
Or after this.
By tomorrow.
Well,
Yes,
you're
I
saying,
agree.
He becomes a deadline trade.
okay. So he will be traded at some point between now and 3 p.m. tomorrow. Got it. All right. All right. I'm going to put keep my optimistic shoes on here. The Devils will win 4 or more games in a row for the first time in almost 2 years starting tomorrow. That's my second prediction.
What year are you in? Just like you're doing.
Bobby, what's your
sorry,
second?
can you repeat what your prediction was? Apparently I'm
No,
high and
I'll
can't
do it in a
follow
second.
anything.
Bob, your second. I jumped you.
The
I'm sorry.
Golden Knights will shut out the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday or Friday,
You're
whenever they
off the
play.
grid.
No pens. Okay. And then mine was that the Devils will win. Devils haven't won more than 3 games in a row since 2000. What was it? 22, 23 season, right? So, to Tim, you did steal Jay's idea. He's pissed.
What was that?
So I said that the Devils will win 4 or more starting tomorrow. They're going to go on a run. They're going to band together with all this bullshit.
Look at this calendar.
And that's what they're going to do. So, Tim, your third and final prediction for the week.
Hang on, I'm checking one thing.
You kind of got a good stretch while he's looking because you've already committed to beating Winnipeg, right? And that's a tough test. And you got the Flyers. We hate playing them, but we're due.
The Flyers on
Columbus.
a national afternoon game against the Flyers. Like,
it's always
when's
the worst.
I hate that.
That's Sunday.
So okay, so we're off Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And finish up with the Oilers who are struggling. So yeah,
I have a good one. Okay, so Tuesday, and then Tuesday the 11th. And I think there's another game.
You. Love it.
All right, so we have 2 games remaining against Columbus.
Uh-huh.
If we win both of those.
Okay. New Jersey wins the next 2 against the Blue Jackets. All right. Bobby, your third and final prediction.
Vasilevsky currently has 29 wins. He's going to finish the season with at least 37.
37 wins?
37 or more.
Isn't like Hollaback already have 37?
Yes, something like that.
All right. My third and final prediction is that Shimon Nemec will score a goal against the Flyers on Sunday.
Mike's got the definite winner.
Tim's internet freezes 3 more times. That's a good one.
That's a hat trick.
Yeah, I think actually that might be a layup. I mean, that's not really a hat trick. That's a fucking layup.
I mean, that's gonna happen. It's just like that's.
You fucking live in Maryland, and there's comparing it to your internet connection to Saskatchewan. It's great. It's fucking great. I love it. You didn't freeze yet, though.
I haven't frozen. I'm frozen on the YouTube version of the screen. I'm looking over here.
Are you frozen on YouTube?
Yeah, but like I don't know, that's more the YouTube. So
It's
what a
great.
mess.
You're moving on my YouTube.
You guys are being so mean to me. I don't like it.
I love it. Keep going. It.
All right.
Let's just trash Tim for the rest of the night.
Yeah, fuck you.
Nah, I'm only kidding. So okay, so I saw a couple of names pop up in the chat when
Got some shit on your chin.
we were going. Dude, where are these? There were some names that the guys were bringing up. I can't find them right now. Fuck it. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? There was a scathing fucking article written about Fitz. I want to. Tim sent it to us. I want to read it though, because I'm not huge on whatchamacallit, the Pucks and Pitchforks articles, but this was all about Jersey, so never mind. So this was actually a pretty decent read. How is it? Oh my God, I'm an idiot here. Sorry, guys. All right, so he writes.
Jesus.
This is from Jared Moore. I'll cut to the chase here. The conundrum Tom Fitzgerald faces. Where to blow his fucking load on Holla. That's the conundrum right now. Says Tom Fitzgerald has put the New Jersey Devils in the position that they are in right now, for better or worse. 5 years into his run as the general manager of this team, the Devils have made the postseason once, and for the second season in a row. A season that began with so much promise is on life support. That might seem a bit melodramatic after all, despite the Devils being the epitome of average at best since the Christmas break, 10-13-3 to be exact. They still hold a top 3 playoff position in the Met. For now, they're still 6 points up from the playoff bubble, and most of the teams behind them are selling at the deadline. For now, and speaking of the trade deadline, that is now a little over 48 hours away at this point. The Devils could still add reinforcements, and it sounds like that is exactly what they plan on doing. Pierre LeBrun has said the Devils are basically poking around every forward available. There's a joke there with Holla and poking around in there. And yet it feels like the Devils are at the lowest point that they've been in quite some time. It's not just the prolonged stretch of mediocre hockey. It's not just the Jack Hughes injury and knowing you're probably not going to have your best player the rest of the way. It's not just knowing what Jack's history is when it comes to shoulder injuries. It's not the double whammy of losing Dougie Hamilton in the very next game, combined with arguably the worst loss the Devils have experienced since opening night against Winnipeg. Opening night of 2019. We all remember that Winnipeg game. I'm not going to go into that, but we blew a 4-0 lead in the third. And then he writes, those good vibes lasted a whole 40 minutes. He's talking about the Dallas game. 40 minutes before, so he's still on the Winnipeg game. Talking about shit that happened in 2019. So he's saying that for as demoralizing as losing to Winnipeg was in 2019, last night was worse. It's worse because the Devils fought back after what happened in Vegas to overcome a 3-1 deficit and tie the game, only to lose in the final seconds of regulation and get 0 points out of the game when points are at a premium. Let's see. It's worse because there are some good. What are they writing?
Jason was on a fucking roll.
They do just write themselves.
They are good. They are good.
Oh, it's like that's right. I don't even want to read this. I want to read what these guys are writing.
Basically, yeah. I don't know.
Well, he goes into here. Just like, of course, he writes, anything can happen if the Devils get in. I still believe in their goaltending and their defense. I believe in their coach. I do think they're capable of playing a grinded-out playoff-style game. I don't think the Devils necessarily played poorly against one of the better teams in the West in Dallas or the game before in Vegas. And I do think there is some value in the Devils playing playoff hockey. Those games are an important teaching moment for a group that clearly still has a lot to learn. Then he starts going into Tom Fitzgerald. Generally speaking, I like most of the moves that Fitz has made. It wasn't too long ago where I was praising him for having fixed the Devils' biggest issues heading into the season. I don't know if it was just fool's gold or me jumping the gun a bit, but the Devils have done their best since I wrote that to make me look like a fool. Then you remember the why when it comes to why those moves being made were made. That the Devils went out and added Pesce, Kovacevic, and Dillon to the back end because they let too much experience on the blue line walk out the door the prior summer. That the Devils traded away Holtz because they whiffed on the 7th overall pick a few years earlier, and they were trying to salvage some value from him before he's out of the league in a few years. That the Devils did get tougher and play against with players like Stefan Nason and Paul Cotter. They also had to use assets to get bottom six forwards because draft picks like Chase Stillman haven't worked out and the Devils haven't developed forwards, which is what we were talking about. Who is ultimately responsible for that? Tom Fitzgerald. He goes on about the goaltending being a mess for his 5-year run.
It's the same
He's
shit.
talking
It's
about
shit.
the $6 million 5-year deal to Palat. He's talking about the Zetterlund getting traded, Boquist getting traded, Sharangovich getting traded, and how all those players are playing really well. What happened with Michael McLeod and not replacing that position when you knew that something was probably going to happen with him. About Eric Holla just, walking around with your cock in his mouth the entire fucking year.
Sounds like a lot of retrospect. That's a lot easy to sit on the sidelines and judge.
It's very much hindsight. I get it, but like,
but here's my question:
he's getting killed for a pretty rough track record of first round draft picks, which he probably can be. Like Holtz and Stillman are Holtz is in retrospect. I think I don't know a lot of people.
Jared Moore. Sorry, Jared Moore is the idiot.
I don't know a lot of people who were killing. There weren't a lot of people that were killing us for taking Holtz. I mean, and
I have no problem with trading him either. Like I have no.
He didn't work. It was also the COVID years where you couldn't really scout, and you couldn't. You had to look at video as opposed to actually seeing guys in person. You couldn't, I feel like if someone had saw him play in person, they would have probably seen the kind of character issue that has come up, that he had just something missing that wasn't going to translate to the NHL. You live and you learn. But the Mook Madulin, I don't know, he's okay in San Jose, and he was part of the Timo trade. There isn't a single, if someone bitches about Timo, there isn't a single fucking person in this fan base that didn't want Timo Meier on this team. It hasn't worked out all that great so far. Hopefully it gets better.
Mercer, I love that. I love we got Cotter on this team. I think he is, I think he's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the playoffs. And I did not like Alex Holtz, and you guys know that. I didn't like him from day one. I didn't want him on the team. Just didn't think he had it, and apparently he doesn't. So the whiffing on all the first rounders like Jack Hughes, Nico Heischer, Luke Hughes,
those weren't his picks though. Like Jack and Nico,
right,
Jack and Nico weren't his picks.
You're right.
I mean, Luke's a great pick.
Yeah.
Nemec, the verdict's still out, but like Cooley and Wright, seem to kind of be more the need of what we have right now. But you can argue that like what's more important is building out from defense or getting a forward. So I don't know, but like Stillman's a fucking awful pick. That's just a fucking awful pick. I think that can be universally agreed upon. Some of these contracts, the Palat contract, the Hall contract, but then we have some of the other contracts like Jack's contract and Nico's contract and Brad's contract. So it's like there's always good and bad with every.
But here's the other thing too about the Hall contract. I mean the Palat contract. Like this team had nobody at the time. Like, remember that summer? We talked about it, right? He was going full bore for Johnny Gaudreau. And when that didn't happen, you had a whole fan base, like, frothing at the mouth. Like, we are getting Gaudreau here. We were all so excited. And when we saw his first year in Columbus, and, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but he did not play well. And we were all like, wow, we dodged the bullet there. But we all wanted him. And then when he couldn't get him, he wanted Matthew Tkachuk. He was going hard. And then Tkachuk leaves and goes afloat. And then, bang, it was like the next day, Palat. He signed that big money deal because he had to save fucking face. That's the only reason Palat got that deal. I think that there are probably no other teams willing to pay him even close to that. And we needed a big name in here. And Palat at the time
also a culture deal, a veteran deal, a deal that you knew you were risking on the back end to get him here, to bring some legitimacy here, to think that you could start to, bring the young kids up and emulate his type of game. I hated the contract from a financial standpoint from the start, and I said it wouldn't age well, but I didn't hate the player. I wanted him for a couple of years to kind of be that guy. Now I hate the player. Yeah, I'm done with that fucking player. I'm so done. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this guy's coming off of 2 cups with, a great Tampa Bay team. Who wouldn't want him on their team? Of course, this guy brings
in the right
like
role.
You said, the pedigree. And we can still do that. If we make the right moves by tomorrow, we can still get Palat playing in that right role. So
or Tampa just brought Yanni Gourde back. Maybe they're looking to get the gang back together and we send Palat back to Tampa. Vegas just got Riley Smith back. Maybe we could send Holla back to Vegas if they're looking to get the band back together.
Maybe we can get
Who knows?
Tampa to trade for Blake Coleman, and then we kidnap him on the way from Calgary, and we just keep him in the Jersey locker room. We decorate it like Tampa and everything, and then we take Blake.
I would
maybe
and start driving to Calgary right now if we can get Blake Coleman.
Maybe we can show all these players that have scored goals their entire lives that they're still allowed to do that at this level.
Yeah,
maybe that would work.
The one thing these guys are talking about is Casey, and I think I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I'm still of the mind. You don't hate Casey. I'm still of the mind.
Good night, Mike. Go have your dinner. Enjoy.
Nemich's later, Mike. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for hanging with us, dude.
Fucking dork.
Don't alienate our 4 fans.
Oh no, I talked to Mike on Facebook Messenger. He's fun. He's an admin of one of the Facebook groups and it's kind of a shit poster. He's pretty funny. I still think we keep Nemec and sell Casey if that's the option. If someone was like pick one, I'd say take Casey. I think that's the way to go.
Well, if it's a big name, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone tomorrow.
Yeah. Casey, Allen, Holla, get him out of here. Sorry, but then there's you put Tatar on waivers. You can bury McDermott in the AHL for a little bit if you need to free up more money. We have $13 million right now to play with, so that's a lot of money to play with.
That's a lot of fun money.
Yeah. Let's go build some hotels on Park Place. Come on.
We have $13 million to play with.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. You can solve. You can make
every problem.
A good team for this run, and solve a lot of problems for next year.
Right.
Even if you have done without this opportunity, because now you at least get them in the door, and then.
But it's found money,
babe.
It's found money. Even if they don't fucking have term, who gives a shit? Like if you don't have to give up a ton and maybe just take 100% of whatever's left on the deal or something, fucking do it.
I think that's a huge advantage that we have right now.
Yeah.
Like I still think like Florida has Matt Kachuk's money on LTIR. I'm sure Vegas will probably break someone's leg in the middle of the night. Mark Stone hasn't been LTIR'd until tomorrow, so it's still a huge advantage. Fitz has got to make the decision of whether he really wants to still go for it. This
How
year.
Do you not though? How do you tell the guys?
The East is
still
Nico
fucking Heischer you're not going for it.
Yes. Jack, Jack is a huge part of this team. He's not the only person on this team.
No.
Like you can't he's a huge chunk of our offense. Was a huge chunk of our offense. We need to find a different way to win. And I still think they can. That first line that we had, that Nico, Timo, Brat line, was fucking awesome and rivals any first line in the league. We get some better pieces to build out that second, third line and do a rejiggering on the fly for now that also can help us in the future. Give up mortgage every fucking asset we have. I don't care. Like you can fix this for now and for later.
And you can make a run.
And that's the thing too. And you'll be set up for a while because, like it or not, there's a core that is still going to be here for a while. And even beyond that core, I'm talking about like the depth of some of the prospects we have coming up. Like you can literally predict out what's going to happen, and you can speed that up a little bit with maybe buyouts or trades and all that kind of thing.
Right.
But
there's
not that much that we should be a few pieces away from. Now we tweak every year. You know what I mean? But this is what we're going to have for this year. And then you tweak going into that playoff run. We shouldn't be to this point where it's like, we need a 3C, we need that scoring winger. We could just get it all done and then tweak for the next 6 years, 7 years.
But I really hope that the mood in the dressing room and with management up there is, guys, this is a blessing in disguise here. We can remake the fucking team because this is what they can do. And every guy in that dressing room has got to look at each other. This isn't last year when the injuries happened and we didn't go for it. I get it. We had 2 19, 20-year-old guys playing, first line defensive minutes. We had no goaltending. We had, major injuries and major defensive problems. This isn't that team. You didn't have Pesce and Dillon and Kovacevic and Markstrom last year. Now you do. Now you can go for it. And I think that if seriously, he can show his chops tomorrow and put together a fucking team that could still make a run and possibly compete for a Stanley Cup. But it's if we didn't have the money, all the other stuff, okay, but you are sitting on $13 million. I mean,
Right.
look, Florida's not sitting around crying that Kachuk isn't in the fucking lineup.
No, they're making
can't sit
themselves
around-
better.
Right. We can't sit
Making
around and
themselves
cry
better.
to Jacks. We got to make ourselves better and go.
And
That's actually a pretty good comparison and analogy. Like they don't have Kachuk, but they still have Barkov. We don't have Jack,
Yeah.
but we still have Nico. Like it's
What were you saying, Bob, before you
I'm
interrupted
saying
you again?
and if the owners are okay with saying, yeah, spend over that 13 million, and if it's for somebody who's not sticking around, but it gives us a run, it's my money. Don't worry about it. I want you to try to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because you can get maybe you get a Rantanen for less than you have to give for some of these guys with term, but you're taking a lot more risk. So what?
you
Worry
have
about
the
it over the
13
summer.
million? Yeah. And maybe
Have the money.
Rantanen comes to Jersey and we go on a run and he turns around and says, I fucking like it here. Yeah. All right. I'll sign. And
We just went on a
Yeah.
run and they
I
didn't
went
even
on a
have
run
Jack Hughes.
and I get to play with Jack Hughes next year. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if there's
Exactly.
someone like I'm not saying Jack and Nate McKinnon are the same player, but in terms of their play driving ability and how they operate in the offensive zone, they're very similar. In terms of the way they play. Like Nate's more of a bull, but in terms of their speed, agility, quickness, and how they just blow through the neutral zone, they're very similar players. And that's the kind of player that Rantanen needs to play with. He's not going to be the guy carrying the puck into the zone. He's the guy that's going to get lost and find himself open in the offensive zone. So
I mean, I would love to have the kid there. And before we wrap it up for tonight, what the hell was the question I was going to ask you guys? Holy shit. I had one all teed up and now I can't fucking remember it. I hate when that happens. Oh, for crying out loud. There was something else I wanted to close with. Okay, I remember. This is now 2 years. I think we've had 3 years. I think that the good run, Jack was healthy. He got hurt, I think, the year before, missed a bunch of games, and then last year, then this year. Like, is this something for us to really worry about? Is this something that we're going to have to deal with every year? Like, is Jack Hughes going to have to end up being a load management type of player for us where maybe we can't throw him on the ice for 82 games out of the year? I mean, unless he comes back with a winter soldier arm, I don't know what, we're going to do here. So,
what did you say? A winter soldier arm?
yeah. I mean, I'm just curious. Is this something that worries you guys? Like,
Yeah,
can the guy,
yeah.
I think it has to now.
It
2
does.
surgeries in 2 years, man. This is fucking brutal.
Every
does.
time
It's
you
funny
get
because
surgery somewhere, you're going to be more susceptible to
Yes.
re-injuring that. It's not getting stronger against popular opinion. If you're repairing torn muscle, it's not stronger next time through. It's not like
Stop running headfirst into the fucking boards.
Yeah, that's number one. It's not Tommy John surgery, for example, where that
Right.
ligament actually comes through and it strengthens your arm and increases your fastball.
Stronger.
You're talking about a shoulder that you're trying to manually repair. And then every time you hit it, there's scar tissue there and it gets worse and worse. And he's a small frame guy. A lot of people are saying put on some weight. Honestly, 10 pounds of weight, 20 pounds of weight on this guy isn't going to stop the type of injuries that he's getting. And he goes full speed all the time. When he does hit the wall, he's hitting the wall at 80 miles an hour.
And both of them are because of his own skating. Like his best asset is and there I froze. Mike wins a chicken dinner. His best assets are skating, but like that's also he's so agile on his edges that he gets up so heavy on his edges that he falls all the fucking time. And both times of his serious injuries that he required surgery for was because of that. Like against Vegas, if you watch it kind of closely, he toe picks a little bit before he eats shit. Like it really has nothing to do with Eichel. It's just he's going full speed, toe picks a little bit.
Eichel felt terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
That was actually nice to see.
I am concerned about it. I agree with Bobby. I don't think any kind of, any level of muscle mass that he puts on is going to affect or help avoid that type of shoulder surgery or that shoulder issue that he has.
But back to my question, because I agree with you guys, it is worrisome. But then the question, do we need to really discuss load management with this guy?
I don't think it's load management with Jack. It's the way that he plays. It's his style of play.
It doesn't matter because it can happen in game one, it can happen in game 82.
Yeah.
Right.
It can happen in practice. It can happen at the Olympics. Right. It can happen at Four Nations. It could happen picking up his groceries.
If that happens picking up his groceries, then we definitely need to fucking give him the phone number to Uber Eats or something.
That's like a baseball player injury. There's a guy that Sammy Sosa, didn't he throw out his back sneezing?
I don't
Probably
know.
roids.
I think it was probably
Yeah.
steroids.
Oh, I sneezed. It wasn't.
It was the
No,
sneeze
no.
of 1,000 men.
No. He sucked my dick. I know, okay.
All right, we're gonna go.
right.
It was a
Let's
nice run
isolate that
before
one.
you froze up,
Yeah.
Tim. Yeah, guys, thanks so much, and this is always fun. I like, of course, we want the podcast to get more popular and more people watching. But like, if we ever get to a time where there's a bunch of people in this chat, I'm gonna be a little bummed because I kind of like our 5 or 6 dudes that we just talk to the whole time, and it's gonna suck going through other people's names to find out what Mike and Jay and all the guys are saying.
We'll just block everybody else.
block
Just
everybody else.
But if any of those guys want to bring your friends and chat with us as well.
And before we wrap it up, too, anybody who's still listening, we want to start getting a little fan feedback kind of thing going on the show. So any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want us to talk about on the show, email us, please. And at unclepuckers@gmail.com. We read everything. We write back. If you are all interested in an Uncle Pucker sticker, like the one I am holding up right here, again, go to theunclepuckers.com. Go on to the contact info, put your info in, and we will get it out to you in the mail ASAP. They're pretty cool. Throw them on your car, throw them on your laptop, throw them on your water bottle, whatever. Do what you got to do. Other than that, wherever you're listening, a like, a subscription, 5-star review, positive comment really does help the little podcast that could. And we appreciate you guys. For Bob and Tim, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers.
All right, boys.
Bye.
Yeah.
That's it? Nothing about Valcat?
Oh, I don't want to talk shit to Valcat anymore, man.
All right, then I will. Valcat, Tom's waiting for you. Eric's all done. It's your turn.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
That'd be great.